Hi, I'm Alaskan photographer Jeff Schultz, official photographer of the Iditarod, and I'm here today to give you a little review about the new PolarPro Summit Filter System. The Summit Filter System is brand new, and this is pretty much it. It consists of filter holder rings that comes with 77 and 82 millimeter. This is the 77 millimeter. They're very lightweight, maybe a little too lightweight for serious work. And then this is the actual holder itself. This filter system is an advanced filter system, mostly really for landscape photographers. And I say landscape photographers because this type of filter holder is really meant to use 3 different filters. It's meant to use a circular polarizer filter. It's meant to use a graduated neutral density filter. And it's meant to use a solid neutral density. Of course, you can use 1, 2, or all 3 at once, but this is built so that you can use all 3 at one time, which most filter systems don't work very well. So some people ask, well, why on earth would you need to use 3 different filters like that? And the answer to that is, well, for the polarizer, I use that either to get contrast in the mountains, like this, or I'd want to use it to eliminate reflections in the water, like this. And then there's times where I want to use a graduated filter so that I get the exposure right in the camera, because my foreground is in the shade, like this, and the background is in the sun, like this, and you can't marry the two together unless you do HDR. But something in the photo is moving, so you can't really use HDR. So you use a graduated filter instead. And then you'd use a solid neutral density filter to make water move a lot, like this, or to make clouds move, like this. For me, it's like turning the sun off, times when I want to have much less sun to get longer exposures. There's just times when I like that. And there's times when I wanted to use all 3 of those, because I'm using the polarizer to get the contrast or the reflections, and I'm using the graduated filter here in order to bring the background exposure down to meet the foreground, and I'm using a solid neutral density in order to make the exposure longer in order to make this look nice and smooth. So there's only a small handful of filters systems on the market that allow you to do all 3 filters. And I'll tell you, the other one that's very similar to this is called Wine Country Camera Filter, which is this one here. Very similar. Again, the beauty of these 2 filter systems is that you can easily use all 3 filters at once. The polarizer, this graduated neutral density filter, and then also a solid neutral density filter. So with the PolarPro system, this is the circular polarizer, which it doesn't have threads, so it literally sits in the back of the filter like that. And you rotate it once it's on the camera, you rotate it by that little knob right there. And then you have the opportunity to slide in graduated filters right in the top, just like that. And then the beauty of it is you can also slide in a regular neutral density filter, a 5-stop, 10-stop, 20-stop, whatever. The system works very well. You screw this big ring onto the front of your lens, like so, and the filter holder system has some really positive stops. Like that. Goes down really well. These tighten, this tightens the top graduated filter, this tightens the back solid neutral density filter. The graduated filters slide in very easily, like so, and then you can stop them wherever you want. But there's enough friction that they'll hold themselves there, but it's always nice to tighten them down. And then the beauty of this whole system, this and Wine Country camera, is this, that you take this filter and you just drop it in and it's there. And there's no way there's a light leak. That's huge with this. What oftentimes happens with filter systems like this, especially like Breakthrough and Lee filter and even NISI, is that once you line up your graduated filter, when you want to put in your other filters, you have to slide them down in the back, and you oftentimes move this filter here. But with this filter system, also with Wine Country, it's that easy. So if you want to recompose a little bit, you just slide that out super easy, recompose your shot, like so. Move your graduated filter a little bit, and then plop this right back in. That is a really big deal. And the biggest thing is there's no light leaks, guaranteed no light leaks. So that's a big deal for this particular system. From the back, you can see how easily these slide in and out. And up and down. Another great advantage of the PolarPro system is that on top of their filters it says exactly what it is. Now, I don't know why they put ND64. Well, I know why. It's because it's 1/64 of the light that comes in, making this a 6-stop filter. But to me that makes no sense. Why not just have it be ND6 or ND 2-stop? Instead they have ND4GR. ND4GR, 2-stop soft grad. To me it doesn't make any sense, but that's just me. The beauty of the PolarPro Summit filter system is that it's well built, and the ND and graduated filters slide in really easily in the top. And the glass appears very good. I'm no optical engineer, but the tests that I've done side by side with NISI filters, Breakthrough filters, and others is that this filter glass is really good. And another great thing about the PolarPro Summit filter is that it does not vignette at 16 millimeter. And that's a big deal because my Wine Country camera filter system does vignette, and that's a real disadvantage. Of course, there are challenges with the PolarPro Summit filter system, and that is that it's a closed system. Closed system means that you can only use their filters with it, which is a disadvantage, I think, because you have to have a lot of confidence in their glass, which I believe it's good and that's fine. But then you also, someone like me, has to reinvest thousands of dollars of filters that I already have for their system. So that's unfortunate. Also a downside is at the moment they do not have all of the filters that I would want to use, like a reverse graduated neutral density filter or a hard edge 2 or 3 stop neutral density filter. Likewise, they don't have a solid neutral density filter in like a 15 stop. I'm sure that will come, but at the moment that's a downfall. Another downside is that when rotating the Polarizer filter, I shoot a lot in the wintertime, and so when using gloves, it's very difficult to move this little ring here. Very difficult. So that's a disadvantage. So this is Breakthrough's system. And the nice thing about this is that it does have the polarizer on it, which you can move, and it has room for 2 additional filters in the front. The biggest problem with this filter holder is that it does not work for filters like this that are solid neutral densities. I mean, you can slide it in there really hard, but it just doesn't work very well. So with the Lee system, you can't use a polarizer with it. It's not built for that. You can put a polarizer on, but then you have to screw on everything else, and it's kind of pointless. But similar to the Lee system and the Breakthrough and NISI is that even if I did have a polarizer on there, once I got my graduated filter into position, like so, then I have to take the solid neutral density and put that in the back. And the difficult part there is that oftentimes you end up moving the graduated filter, especially if you want to get it out. If you want to get it out somehow, it's really difficult to get it out. So that's where the PolarPro Summit and the Wine Country camera beat everything hands down. The Wine Country, on the other hand, has a very easy to rotate polarizer, even in the winter time. And the cool thing about the Wine Country camera is it has 3 slots in the front. So I can put in 2 different graduated neutral density filters. These dots here allow me to move the filters as I want. And if I happen to let it go, it catches. And once I have the second filter in, I can easily, let me just show it to you here, I can very easily take a solid neutral density and slide it in the back. And again, there's no light leaks and I haven't moved these at all. And if I want to recompose so that I can see through the camera exactly what's going on, I very easily take out the solid neutral density filter so I can recompose my photo and slide the filters up or down wherever I want them. They're precise where they're at, and then I very easily just drop in the solid neutral density filter. The problem with Wine Country camera filter holder is that it vignettes up to about 19 millimeter. That's very unfortunate. But it is a very good system. So there you have it. There's the PolarPro Summit filter holder. I really like it. I think it's well built. It's got a lot of good things going for it. A few disadvantages, so that'll be a challenge for them to overcome, especially that you have to buy brand new filters. But it's really good. Give it a shot. Check it out. I'm glad there's something else out on the market for serious landscape photographers. If you like what you saw and heard, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much. Have a great one and hope to see you here in Alaska someday.